Children, have you ever met the bogeyman before? No, of course you haven't, for you're much too good, I'm sure. Don't you be afraid of him if he should visit you. He's a great big coward, so I'll tell you what to do. Hush, 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 here comes the bogeyman. Don't
Really
let
is
him
a
come
hit.
too close to you.
Yeah, it's good for bread, but really, you really want to use a bone saw to get through bones. And hello, and welcome to another episode of It Hails from the Crypt. I'm your host, Fred Schroeder, with
Tim Loughran.
As always,
here we're gonna work on that. We're gonna nail this beginning.
We're gonna someday nail this beginning where we know when to talk. Yeah.
We'll have it coordinated and synced up as like we'll be humming like a barbershop quartet.
Yes. But today we're going to talk about the third episode of the show Tales from the Crypt, entitled Dig That Cat, He's Real Gone, directed by Richard Donner, written by
Snap
Terry
Your Fingers, Beatnik. Is that like that's Beatnik slang, right?
Dig that cat. Dig it. Yeah.
Gotta have my Van Dyke.
Give your snaps.
Snap.
Yes.
Coffee time.
Coffee shop adjacent.
Mm-hmm. I'm wearing a striped shirt and a beret for this.
I love that you really went with the theme, and I'm dressed as a giant black cat. So we're both really into the cosplay on this one. Well, let's get into it. This episode is based on a short 8-page comic from The Haunt of Fear 21 that dates from 1950, written by Bill Gaines and Al Filstein, as usual, but illustrated by the great Jack Davis.
Yeah, I really liked the illustrations on this one.
He's terrific. And we talked last episode about Johnny Craig, and I mentioned there's another artist who went by the name Ghastly, who was the very detailed, gross comic artist, and Johnny Craig was sort of the refined, very stately, refined comic artist. And Jack Davis kind of sits between those two guys and is a much more cartoony artist. Yeah. He was born in 1924 in Georgia. He's a Southern guy, made his way to New York after serving in World War II and was having a tough time finding work until he says he was carrying his portfolio all over town and was ready to go back to Georgia. And then he said he took this rickety elevator up to the offices of the EC Comics, which the Entertaining Comics offices, showed his portfolio to Gaines and Feldstein. He said, my work was horrible, so they hired me right away and got me to work. He worked on all their horror comics and war comics and Western comics. He was great, and they described him as the fastest of all of their artists, could turn out these stories in just a couple days. And Jack Davis loved him because as soon as he turned in the pages, they would give him a check. He didn't have to write him an invoice or anything. He said, I got paid right away. So this was great. I was trying to save up to get married. So this was fantastic. Even though I didn't really like horror comics, I was more like a cartoonist. He really loved, comic and funny stories, and that's why he became, one of the most indelible Mad magazine artists. He did all the parody comics that you saw in Mad, and then went on to have a really successful career in advertising and doing, I think, hundreds of TV guide covers. He did the poster for It's a Mad, 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 Mad World and The Long Goodbye.
Love that movie.
He did it.
He did The Long Goodbye? That one?
Yeah, he did that one where they're all character. That's his style.
That's such a fun style that they don't
Yes.
do anymore. Like sports, I used to have like a like in the late '80s, early '90s, like there would always be like a Mark McGuire, a Jose Canseco, or shirt where like a Michael Jordan would be like caricaturized just like that, and they don't make shirts like that anymore with that feel. And if there are out there, I want to buy one.
Yeah, he really kind of patented that style, and a lot of people copied him, but he was sort of that was Jack Davis. He ended up doing a lot of covers for Time magazine as well, parodies of like Gerald Ford and
Imagine
Richard
Nixon.
Nixon and all these
Yeah.
political figures at the time. And he said at the end of his career, he died in 2016, that he was the most proud of that stuff, the magazine covers that he did over the years, especially in the 70s. But and sort of dismissed a lot of this early horror stuff. But I think definitely there's been a resurgence since the show and onwards, looking back at Jack Davis's horror stuff as well, and
Yeah.
appreciating how he did that. He also really fleshed out the character of the Crypt Keeper. If you looked at
Oh,
what the Crypt Keeper looked like when Al Felstein did it, Jack Davis kind of redid him and added all these warts and giant hands and really made him look more disgusting than original.
as he
Uh,
should.
yeah, so really put his stamp on the Crypt Keeper.
Well, it's funny when we go over our notes and stuff like that for the comic. I usually have like maybe like 4 or 5 panels that I like to talk about or highlight. But when we get into this sort of the story and the art and as that progresses, I've got like I like clipped like 10 images because I just found them so much fun and wanted to talk about each of them.
Well, let's get into it. Yeah, so this story, like I said, appeared not in the actual Tales from the Crypt magazine, but in Haunt of Fear, which was ostensibly the Old Witches comic. But within that,
Hmm.
they would do a Vault of Horror story or a Crypt of Terror story. This was a Crypt of Terror story called Dig That Cat, He's Real Gone. We got to talk about this title. I mean,
Yeah, this title like
the most
it is
50s
like some
title
beatnik
ever.
poetry shit, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was the '50s, and I guess I should have done a deep dive on beatniks and the sayings, but I think that cat is like out of this world. It's that cat is kind of like cool guy, right? He's like a cool guy,
Yeah, it
and he's out
was
of this world.
it's
He's
very beatnik, very like jazz speak, coffee house jazz is like dig
Mhm.
that cat, man. He's real guy. That would be something you'd say about a jazz musician who's really, riffing on a jazz you
Right.
know, music piece.
And then the pun here is he's gone, as in he gonna die.
Oh, what? I
He
didn't
gonna
even get
die.
that. Wow, great. Great.
He's
Yes.
in danger. He's in
Yes.
danger, girl.
He's in danger, girl. And of course the 9 lives of the cat, which what a
Which I have a lot of
ridiculous
trivia
premise.
on. Yeah,
But
like just the.
let's get into the comic, which is narrated by Ulrich, the
Yes.
Undying. He leads us through the whole story in kind of voiceover, right? Like he's telling us the story of how he became Undying. You want to get into that a
Yeah.
little bit?
Yeah, and you kind of like are starting it from the end, and you're gonna, follow his life as he or lives, since we're talking multiple lives here, that he leads. We're just gonna hand wave all the logistics of insurance policies and stuff, and
Those
how he
didn't
gets away.
exist in the 50s. They didn't have insurance till
Yeah, yeah.
the
It's
80s
but
at least.
it's a cool narrative device that it was fun. Obviously, I guess the first episode, which the comic didn't have this, but with sort of like the William Bill Sadler narrator, we kind of through the series we'll go back to that. But this is the first time, as far as the comic is concerned, that we're getting this sort of narrative device, right?
Yeah, it wasn't really used in the Man Who Was Death, but they definitely lean into it here. And I think the writing, which is done by Bill Gaines and scripted by Al Filstein is really good for the time. Like the quality is really high in all this stuff.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about the coloring. A woman named Marie Severin did, I think, all the coloring for EC Comics, and I love that they just go with like when he's inside the coffin, it's total blue or cyan color to show that he's like in complete darkness. I think that's really effective and really pops off the second page, at least when he is in that coffin thinking about
Yeah.
how did I end up in this coffin? What a predicament.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me tell you the tale of how I ended up in this coffin. Yeah, I love the colors. I love like again, like even when a character isn't highlighted or in shadow, he's like that blue too. Like when the doctor approaches him when he's like a bum.
Yeah.
And I love the way they explain away the science. It's a simple matter, just an operation. I remove a certain gland from a common cat and I place it in your body. Are you willing? That's it. I'm just going to give you that. The guy's like, I don't know. Like you should just at that point just start just giving him more drinks. Be like, maybe you need a drink for this. But he agrees to it. He agrees to it.
Yes. Science is big in the
And
50s.
the doctor himself gives him the name Ulrich the Undying.
Yeah,
Because the doctor from the get-go wants to make money off this guy.
yeah, and you wonder if he's done this before, right? Like he just finds a guy and every 8 or 9 lives he finds a new
Yeah.
guy. Like is this his plan? Is this his like his pitch to the investor community of how like this could be a sustainable profit?
This is my
Is this
income.
like his Theranos pitch to all the investors of his
Well,
cat gland transplant system?
yeah, and he's got the monocle, which screams just trustworthy doctor, right? Yeah, he's
Really,
a street
yeah.
nerd.
I feel like we don't see a lot of monocled people anymore. Yeah, bald monocled professors aren't a big demographic for. I wonder
No.
how. I feel sorry for the monocle industry that it's suffered.
Yeah,
So
it really
much.
has gone out of fashion. I think there needs to bring
Someone
back that
needs to bring
monocle,
it back. Maybe some things just can't be brought back. Maybe the monocle goes the way of the Hitler mustache, which you just sorry, it's
Yeah.
just can't do it. Can't
Yeah,
name your
can't
kid
happen anymore.
Adolf anymore. Yeah, it's just a
Nope.
tragedy. Yeah.
So yeah, we get some interesting. The beauty of comics is the budget is the paper, and so we'll talk about this more when we get to the filmed episode. But the methods of Ulrich and his dying here are very extravagant versus the budgetary this of a new TV show. So we can see one panel of our friend Ulrich diving off is it Niagara Falls, right? Without a barrel.
Yes. Yeah.
And I love that we get I remember the rushing Niagara River sweeping past the crowds that lined the shore, sweeping me to the brink and over.
Yeah, and in the background it looks like there's a crowd of thousands watching him.
Yeah.
Yeah, just saying, like you said, there he goes. It'll kill him for sure. The fool. Well, they were fools.
But he's happy as a clam.
I
mean, we've already
love in the very next panel. It's not like he's invincible though. So he is in the hospital with all kinds of bandages, traction. And I'm like, is this really worth it? Like, how permanent are these injuries? Like, does he go back to being whole, or like
does he Wolverine eventually himself back into,
or is he just in pain constantly from this moment forward when he next jumps out of a plane to his death?
Well, it's great. Also, and something that again we'll talk about the TV show. TV show didn't get me this sort of feeling, but they made $30,000 in 1955 money off this stunt, this Niagara stunt, and I'm kind of like, well, that's a pretty chunk of change versus like carnie money,
The money in the TV adaptation, we'll talk to it, didn't seem like enough, right? It seemed
No, that
like
was my note. I kept coming back to, is it
wha-
worth this? Is this all
yeah,
worth it?
like why isn't it like $1 million? Like
I
why is
know.
it? It seems like
It's
chunk
like, and you're
change.
stuck with Robert Wuhl, like you know what I mean? We just like these are extravagant. This is like evil Knievel stuff. With the result being like, yay, it's amazing. He's gonna die. I guess you don't get the payoff of the people seeing that he came back to life as much. I'm not sure, but he
No, but
does, and
it's
we talk
but
about it.
it's really efficient, and the TV show does follow the plot really closely. Like he does
Yeah,
then kill the professor in a car accident, which is done really quickly in just 2 panels. That whole scene is like he goes from Ulrich, slow down, you're driving too fast. I'm gonna make an investment, Doc. I'm gonna invest my fourth life in 100% of our partnership, and I'll still have 5 lives left. Smash. It
and
seems
then we see that
also
smile.
very wasteful. Like they
Yeah,
waste a life at the very beginning of him getting shot in the heart. The
yeah.
TV show also does this, but the comic does it. And I always feel
Yeah,
like, oh man, that's like it's always
that's
like my
that
my
could have been hundred
problem
thousand
with the
dollars.
3 wishes,
Yeah,
of Aladdin is like don't wish it on like proving that this is a real thing, which they
yeah.
do. It's like, oh, now you're down to 8. No wonder, you know.
Well, I think that leads you to a good hypothesis where you said, I think the doctor may have been doing this. Because if the doctor has been running this scam for some reason, I don't know why we haven't heard about it in the papers, but he is totally cool to waste a life to make a point and be like, see, I brought you back, guy. What was it like to die? And then we see this panel here when he gets in the car accident and the monocle comes off. And then we see like the smile on the doctor's face that Ulrich will remember, and this is something I don't think the TV show made a point to like stress, which I think it should have, because like it is kind of an important moment where like the doctor either has been running the scam and knows like fool, you've been fooled the whole time. You think there's 9 lives, there's 8 because I done used the cat up.
Right,
um
which sets him up as kind of like he knew he was going to eventually kill this guy by him
exactly.
losing count. The big twist, spoiler alert, is like they miscount. The guy Ulrich miscounts. Is he's not great at
Yeah.
math and only had 8 lives and not 9 because one of the lives is taken up by the cat. And yeah, you miss that. It's crazy that you miss the subtlety of the comic setting up
You know.
this whole thing in favor of the TV show being much more Robert Wuhl centric, I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, we'll get
And
into Wall. Trust me.
yeah, more of a
We'll get into Wall.
yeah, I guess uh, just a faster way of just I'm just gonna
Yeah.
kill this guy and move on and show that
Because like I
Ulrich
think
is a
that
bad
doctor
guy.
is such an important character. So it was like but anyways, he
Yeah.
doesn't have any. He's now killed the person that would wake him up or be there to like take care of his body. So now he wakes up in the morgue, which is I'll been so excited to talk about that part that they do in
Yes.
the TV show. But I love that we see that he's like no one was around, so I woke up and scared the hell out of the mortician. And then he gets his assistant Saxton.
Right.
And
Who I love
he looks like
Saxon's
Peter
first
Lorre.
panel. He kind of looks like a Faulknerian idiot man child a little bit. Like he's got this bow tie and this split
Yeah.
lighting when he's introduced, and sort of looks
He is
like a,
two-faced. He's
a
introduced as a two-face.
yeah,
And
which
the
is
other
great.
side is very ghoulish. Like that's why I was like, is he like a Peter Lorre or something like that? Or as soon as I'm declared dead, bring my body back here and put it in bed. I'll come around after a while. Understand, Saxton? Just like
Yes,
I just love his
Mr.
name, Saxton.
Ulrich. And he's like not even looking at him. He's just staring off into
Yeah,
space like some goon.
he's
And then
thinking
they
of all the
go
possibilities.
into a electric chair situation, which I can see why they
Yep.
changed that in the show, because it was be too much like I think The Man Who Was Death. And
Yes.
uh, all 3 of these first episodes aired the same night, so I think they wanted some variety in the show,
Yeah.
uh, which makes sense. And then
And their drowning was just person in bag at bottom of river or something.
Yeah, I actually love that image though. It's really
I did too.
evocative in the comic. Reminded
It's
me
like Night of the
of
Hunter.
yeah, it also reminded me a little bit of the crate episode in Creep Show when they toss
Oh
the
yeah,
crate into the bottom of the ocean. You just see
yeah,
it there at the end of the of that segment.
right. Which is obviously
Which
influenced by
y-
EC Comics.
yeah, we should do Creep Show eventually. That should
Yeah,
be
we'll
a
have to do the
special
movie, the
episode.
Creep Show 1 and 2, I guess. Maybe if we get our act together, we can do a Patreon and then do special episodes and what have you.
Yes. Oh yeah, get that sweet, sweet Patreon money. Yes,
Yeah,
to fund this. Uh
but Saxton
yes,
is
Two-Face
we'll sell him
Saxton
out.
sells him out, not just sells him out, just like comes in and is like, "All right, I want the money," and just stabs
Yeah,
him. Not even in
yeah,
the back, just like, "Hey, take this money and I'm killing you right now. There goes your next
pretty
life."
violent.
Yeah.
Yeah, takes all of his money.
Yes.
He's got no money, so this is again his last ditch effort to recoup his losses. His hubris has gotten to him with the classic Greek tragedy of man gets the power to cheat death, man forgets how to count, and man dies while trying to
Yes,
profit.
I think that was the riddle of the Sphinx originally.
Yeah,
Yes, the answer to the riddle of the Sphinx. Yes.
yeah,
Uh, and then, yes, he realizes too late, as he's already been buried alive, that they miscounted and the cat. Great panel of this dead cat on the last page of this story, by the way. The
yeah.
second panel is pretty gruesome.
It looks like a Sphinx cat actually. It looks hairless and skinny and not like a raggedy tomcat.
Yeah, it looks
But
skinny. I think it has some fur though. It's like
yeah,
it's not a
yeah, you're right.
hairless cat, but it is pretty detailed, disgusting dead cat. Like it
Yeah,
not very kid friendly. Like I think if a little kid saw this, the kid would be
yeah.
a
They'd be
little
like, poor
upset
kitty.
by this.
They could probably have a tongue hanging out with like just a dry.
Right. Right.
Sell it more, but the cat's dead. The
The
cat
cat is dead.
that was life number one.
Yes. Then we have these great series of panels as he's suffocating at the end.
He's laughing. He's almost laughing himself to death. Like he almost appreciates that he uh figured it out. You know what I mean? Do you think
Yeah,
he's like, oh, maybe that old doc was gonna swindle me the whole time, and I actually am laughing. I like it when someone can realizes.
and his last lines are, "That's joke. Why the gasp cough doc laughed. Yeah." And then above ground, of course, we hear the two.
I love grave diggers. I love a good grave digger.
Hey Ed, did you hear something? A faint scream? Huh? Oh, it must have been a cat you heard, Phil. Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
And then we're back
Or
to
any of the millions of people watching right now, or the guy we just buried. No, cat.
cat, probably a cat. And
It's a
we're
cat.
back to the Crypt Keeper, who has some great ending puns here, which I think you could get into. First off, I love that he calls it a Yelp yard, is what he calls the story.
I actually had a question mark there. What the hell? I mean, yarn, obviously cat. Cats like yarn. They like to play with balls of yarn. But a Yelp yarn.
I think Yelp is like Yelp is like
Yelp.
Yeah, it's the onomatopoeia sound of like a spooky tale, basically. A Yelp yarn, but I've never heard that phrase before. I'm going to try to use that in any conversation I can to try to put Yelp yarn into that.
It's like a good social media handle. Yelp yarn at TikTok or whatever.
I look forward to hearing from that follower.
Find Yelp yarn out there. Yeah. He's a poor pussy. He used up one when they dug up Ulrich at the end of the 3 hours. He was dead, all right, for good too. And we talk about the old witch meowing.
And that's the end.
That's our comic.
More meows. And listen, here's a tip. Make like you're reading her column. If you didn't, you may Angora by I
Yeah, I
don't
didn't.
I don't really
Is it a
get that part.
sweater, yarn? We're really,
Yeah,
really trying for that pun there. I
really
think that
really
the
stretching that.
yarn was supposed to connect to Angora.
Yeah, really stretching that that thin line of puns. Yeah. The
Yeah.
end.
As a dad, I can't even appreciate that one. I can appreciate a good pun, but that one was a stretch.
Yes, literally. Yes.
Yes. But cats, they have 9 lives. Did you want to hear some fun facts about
Yeah, let's
9 lives in
get
cats?
into the 9 lives of cats.
And then we'll talk about this episode. For the ancient Egypt angle, right? Cats were sacred, linked to the sun god Atum Ra, who is said to have birthed 8 other gods. 8 gods plus Atum Ra himself equals, you guessed it, Fred, 9. See, we're better counters than Ulrich already. That's likely where I think 9 cats could come from. It's divine and not arbitrary. Um, the number 9 itself across cultures is a number of mystical completeness. 9 muses in Greek mythology, 9 worlds in Norse mythology. Cats got 9 because 9 meant everything. The fullest possible measure of life. Did you know Shakespeare used a cat reference in Romeo and
Yes,
Juliet?
with
Mercutio.
Mercutio,
He taunts Tybalt.
who is called Tybalt was the king of cats, right? That was
Yes,
his.
good king of
Yeah,
cats, nothing but one of your 9 lives. So that's
nice.
been around at least since like the 1500s, right?
Yeah,
And there's an old English proverb: a cat has 9 lives. For 3 he plays, for 3 he strays, and for the last 3 he stays. Does that have some good rhythm? It's pretty good
I
rhythm.
dig it. I dig it, man.
Um,
Snaps,
there's science to
snaps.
this cat thing though too. Did you know that there's science here?
No, what's the
They have
science?
my son is a huge fan of Mark Rober, who did this with
Smash
squirrels. He
Labs,
does a whole
right?
squirrel thing, yeah, which is the same sort of concept. The cats have this sort of a writing reflex that lets them orient mid-fall, and they spread their body to slow their descent. So they've survived falls from extraordinary heights, and so this legend is kind of grounded in something real because they can correct themselves while they're falling, and that's why they higher the fall. They might actually have more time to correct and calculate themselves. They call it high rise syndrome. It was
Oh,
coined by New York City vets in the 1980s after noticing cats regularly surviving falls from skyscrapers. The record,
skyscrapers.
yeah, the
Wow.
record. You want to hear the record for a cat falling?
Yeah.
The record is a cat surviving a 46-story fall. And overall survival rates of cats brought to vets after falls, 90%.
Wow. 90%.
90, yeah, exactly. So
It's
I dig
only
them
1 out of 9 times that those
9
cats die.
times.
So, wow, great.
True,
Cats.
but
I think we can all admit that cats are amazing. Love
they
cats.
are. I'm allergic to them, though. I mean, I don't dislike cats, but they do make me sneeze and my eyes well up with tears. Not because they exist, but just because they have some sort of innate quality to make me all hay fevery.
It might
Do you have
be
that?
I'm allergic to everything, so yes, but I had cats growing up. I love cats. Yes, allergic to everything. It's why I read a lot of comic books and watched movies because I
See?
couldn't do anything else, and now here I am making a podcast. So
Yeah.
yeah, the circle is
You,
complete.
speaking of the circle, you know what I'm not allergic to?
Dogs.
Joe Pantoliano. Not allergic to Joe. Love Joe. Love
Joe
to see as much
Pantoliano,
Joe
the
as possible.
star of tonight's episode, episode 3. Dig that cat. He's real gone. I can't get enough of this title. Uh,
Yeah.
Directed by the great Richard Donner, who was one of the many famous executive producers on the show.
Yeah.
This was the 3rd episode
Started off in
air.
horror. He did The Omen. He did The Omen.
Well, he started off, unlike the other 2 guys, Zemeckis and Walter Hill, he has a long background in television. Directed a lot of television in the early 60s. He did over 6 episodes, or did 6 episodes of The Twilight Zone.
Yep.
A couple of which I just want to point out, I think are amazingly prescient today and worth a rewatch. One was called From Agnes with Love, which is about a computer programmer whose this giant
Whoa.
computer falls in love with them
Oh my God.
and starts to have feelings for their creator and leads to difficult a difficult love triangle, to say the least.
Right. But this is a
And
1960s computer, so it's all like tape and moving giant tape.
yeah, it's a giant
Just tape,
wall-sized
right?
machine. Yeah, it's like when I think there's a Simpsons episode where Professor Frink is like, in the future, computers will be the size of warehouses, and only the 6 richest men in the world will be able to own them. And that was
We might
kind
get
of,
there too.
well, with data
We
centers,
might get there.
with data centers, we may just get there.
hmm
So that's a prescient episode. Even more prescient is the episode he directed called "The Brain Center at Whipple's," in which
Which is that name is alone worth
great
checking
title,
out.
amazing title alone, worth the price of admission, I think, for the title alone.
So where's the price of a Whipple?
Worth
Whatever.
the price.
Do you know what a Whipple is?
Nope.
Can you help me?
It's the name of this guy's factory, which he starts to slowly replace all of his employees with robots. You know, these robots sort of take over, and then the big twist is a robot is created to take over his job as the boss. So, very prescient in these AI anxiety-ridden times, both directed by
Yeah.
Richard Donner, who would then go on to direct a lot of TV movies, and then had the huge breakout hit with The Omen, the horror film.
That was his first movie, right? That was his first film.
No, he did other films before that, but his first big
This one was the
hit.
big. Yeah.
This was a massive hit. Ushered in the idea of big budget horror films, because it was maybe the first time or one of the first times that you had A-list actors like Gregory Peck
Yeah.
being in a horror film. You know, usually horror was a genre relegated to low budget, independent movies that you could make for much less than a big budget studio pictures. Those were usually epics or, you know, big westerns, things that required a giant budget. And The Omen was really the first time horror was sort of elevated to the studio picture level. And that proved to be hugely successful. I think The Omen was, you know, one of the top 3 grossers the year it came out. Richard Donner, after that, was a, you know, powerhouse director. Went on to do Superman the movie, and
love that movie.
Half of Superman 2, maybe, you know, was sort of fired midway through by the Salkins, and of course did Goonies and Lethal Weapon movies. You know, was a huge, you know, A-list director from The Omen on, and
then produced stuff. Obviously, he's
produced a
done
ton of stuff, including the Tales from the Crypt TV show. It was instrumental in getting this show on the air and directing this episode, which was written by Terry Black, brother of Shane Black. Who wrote, you know, Shane Black, of course, wrote the Lethal Weapon movies, was at one point the highest paid screenwriter in Hollywood, would go on to write to co-star in Predator.
I love that he was in Predator as the first kill
in a very memorable role. Went on to do Kiss Kiss Bang Bang fairly recently.
Well, my
which is
favorite
terrific.
is The Good Guys.
The Nice Guys.
Nice Guys. Sorry.
Yes.
The Nice Guys.
God, and the Nice
Guys.
My
dad would do. The Nice Guys.
And those good guys.
My
you
dad
know,
will say the thing wrong or add an S.
The
to
Chucky,
things.
the Chucky movie, The Good Guys.
You know, The Good Guys. Yeah, that one. Boy,
The Nice Guys.
The movie
and
that
also,
I love that I can't remember the name of.
Yeah, great movie. But Terry Black, he would go on to do 4 more episodes of Tales from the Crypt. Would also write the Tales from the Crypt animated spin-off, which I guess we'll have to get into eventually.
Yes, we'll have to get into that.
Tales from the Crypt Keeper, which he's credited for writing 17 episodes of that show, which
Oh my
is
God. Wasn't there a game show at one point too? There's a Crypt Keeper game show, if I'm correct.
yes. There's
I think there
there were
is.
so many insane spin-offs, which we can get into one episode.
Yeah.
At least there's a
We'll see how
Christmas
that goes.
album the Crypt Keeper released, a
Oh,
Christmas
I
album.
know the Christmas album.
Yeah. So we can talk about that. But Terry
Yeah,
Black
all for future.
wrote this episode, and of course, Joey Pants is our star as Ulrich. His co-star is Robert Wuhl from HBO's other flagship show, Arliss, with
Right.
with the money symbol at the end.
With the two S's are money symbols on our
Yes.
list.
Yeah.
He was in I think he was in Bull Durham, was sort of like, what was it? I'm trying to think of the first thing I remember Wool being in that I really liked, and I was like, oh, he was in Batman, the Tim Burton Batman.
Yeah, I think
he was
Batman
like really
was the first thing I remember him being in.
Okay.
But he was obviously in all the other stuff, you know. And he plays the carnival barker, who becomes a much larger role in this in the TV show than it was in the comic. I think, you know, he's not the carnival barker isn't really even seen much in the comic.
And the comic, there is no real carnival. It's just a bunch of stunts, like public stunts, and so they adapted it to have this carnival angle, which, you know, I kept writing down, like, is this financially sustainable? Several times.
I
sort
think
of like
that
how
must have been a factor in why they did that, because they're reusing the same set over and over again. Clearly, so they don't have to go
Those
to
of us who
Niagara
work
Falls.
in this industry understand. I don't think we had visual effects down to, like, you know, cheaper. They're already expensive, but then you would have to have like a ton of different locations to do any of these extreme sort of deaths.
Yes. So all the deaths sort of happen. Even the car accident is clearly shot on a stage. It's a process shot.
Yeah. And the camera just shakes at the end, like, car accident, shake camera.
Yes. So I think maybe that speaks to, you know, Richard Donner's experience in television and those Twilight Zones, and knowing what you can get away with camera tricks, basically, and reusing sets and shooting from different angles and reusing your extras by putting the people in the back in the front and the people in the front and the back,
or just jumping in yourself, because he has his own cameo. He cameos as like he screams Ulrich in the first.
You can spot him. He's sitting next to his wife Laura Schroeder Donner, who
was a
huge producer, produced all the X-Men movies, and was a huge executive at 20th Century Fox. You can see them together just having a great time at this crazy circus where they watch somebody die. Fantastic.
No one ever says, "Is this legal?" I just love the hand waving.
Yes. So Joey Pants, I think, is great in this episode. I think
I agree.
He actually is.
He's fun.
Really fun to watch. I don't know if I'd really seen him outside of maybe Midnight Run before this, where he had a memorable turn as Robert De Niro's sort of bounty hunter agent. I feel like
he's kind of a good. He doesn't sell him out in that one, does he? I'm trying to remember. He's kind of with him the whole way, right? He's kind of like
no. He hires the other guy to go after Charles Grodin, and at the very end,
competing.
They have the competing bounty hunters after Charles Grodin. That movie is fantastic, by the way.
That movie is amazing. I love that movie.
Worth checking out over and over again. But
he he's kind of played like these sort of like,
he always plays kind of a slimy, underhanded guy.
Slimy guys.
You know. I think his biggest breakout was, you know, The Matrix as the you know, spoiler alert, he's the guy who stabs him in the back, who stabs humanity in the back for a good taste of steak, you know. And he's played kind of a thug maybe the worst. Business. Yes, and played maybe the worst character on The Sopranos.
Right.
was the guy everyone was like, oh, well, he's got to get killed. Like, Tony's got to kill this guy finally.
He gets his just desserts in the end of that one too.
Spoiler alert, yes. But is great at playing those kind of characters, and he's great in this episode. They also, instead of him having, his Faulknerian idiot man-child who stabs him, they recast that with Kathleen York, who plays the assistant.
Yes, she takes it to not 11. She takes it to 12 playing that assistant.
I think she's hilarious in this. She plays it like very much like Harley Quinn, the cartoon character from the Batman animated series, is like very much like the classic dumb blonde kind of,
right?
But is she double crossed him, so she's not that dumb.
She ends up with like his stash of tens of dollars or whatever he made from that.
and Kathleen York seems to be having so much fun playing this role. I love that she asks him out right before he's.
I was just about to say,
be drowned. He's like, "You want to go out on a date?" and which is hilarious. It's hilarious. I also love the moment when she brings the old woman up to kill him, and says,
she's like,
"Kill my boyfriend, Grandma."
You can tell that like Richard Donner is just letting everybody, I think, have fun with this, because it seems definitely like everyone's bought into like this has to be outlandish, and even the father son, like
we gotta talk about the father son.
I've been killing people.
The father son team is such a great trope to bring in. Also, before that, you have the nerd who can't see straight.
Right.
Who at first I thought was Eddie Dean, but it wasn't. It's some.
I thought that was Eddie Dean too, but it wasn't. Yeah,
it's not. I want to go back to the old woman that's brought up by Kathleen, because I'm always fascinated.
You bet your ass I'm ready. That's what she says. You're bet your ass I'm ready.
Which I feel like was a popular trope in the late 80s. Was people thought it was hilarious to have old people curse. I feel like in like the Running Man, when they bring up the old lady from the Running Man, and they're like, "Who are you betting on?" "You bet your ass I'm betting on Ben Richards," or whatever. And it's the same kind of thing here. It's like cursing grandmas is inherently funny, or grandmas was like,
"Where's the beef?" The "Where's the beef lady" is what kind of brought that into.
Yes,
"Where's the beef lady?" if you're young, but
well,
we're not.
Where's the beef? Look up the director of those commercials, Joe Settlemeyer, who unfortunately just passed away this year.
Oh no!
I think is an unsung film genius. He directed all these amazing. He directed all those "Where's the Beef" commercials, but has this really particular style of filmmaking.
Wide lenses, right?
These wide lenses, really mastered for the square format of television. His big break was he did this 1960s commercial that introduced the Volkswagen Bug to everyone, and it's set in a funeral where the nephew inherited all the money because he was his rich uncle knew he was smart with money because he saw that he had bought a Volkswagen Bug. But it's all done in this like very arch, cartoony style that really fits with that. We went on a huge tangent there, but
no, that's all right.
Look up Joe Settlemeyer commercials on YouTube or something. They're all great. He was a genius. Anyway, I am fascinated whenever an old character actor shows up, who plays old woman, and I have to do a deep dive, like, well, what led them to this in their career? This character is played by Dorothy Mannon, who plays old lady. She has 146 credits to her role, to her resume, but first started playing old women in 1958 and is still playing them in 1989. The first credited.
I thought you were going to go the opposite way, and like she was like this bombshell that was like Betty Boop.
She specialized in just playing old women for like 30 years. It's like what I call the Wilford Brimley syndrome, where
Yes.
Was Wilford Brimley ever young? It's like he came out in the world playing old man characters from the
Yeah.
beginning. And Dorothy, so her first credited that I could find was The Brothers Karamazov in 1958, which is the Yul Brynner version. She played
Okay.
Old Crone. That was her role, and then went on to play varied versions of like Mildred.
Crones and
And,
hags.
yes, all these roles. Was famous for that. And I think that's hilarious. She plays a great
Yeah.
old lady in this one role.
Pays the bills. When
And
you
yeah, go ahead.
are doing something well, keep doing it.
Yeah, once you nail it,
Yeah.
own it. And she really owned that. Like, this is my look, and I'm gonna. I can imagine the casting calls for all of her roles would be all people
That type.
with that similar type, but made a
Yeah.
career of it.
I love it.
146
That's
roles.
nothing to shake a stick at.
Nothing to
That's
shake
pretty
a stick
impressive.
at. Kathleen York, who played the crazy over-the-top assistant who kills Joey
Mhm.
Pans, I guess is most famous for probably The West Wing. She played a senator on The West Wing for
Oh.
many, many episodes,
Mhm.
and would go on to be nominated for an Oscar for Best Original Song for the best Oscar-winning picture of all time, Crash. There's a lot of
What?
sarcasm in that, but
How did she get into that song writing territory?
I don't know. She's known. She has a different kind of persona as a songwriter. Kitty York is her moniker, but yeah, varied career. She seems to be having so much fun, and I'm so with her
Yeah.
in this show.
She-
She really makes it, and I think that's one of the improvements that they make on the comic is adding her role to this, because she makes it a lot more fun, in my opinion.
It's a lot more dynamic than Saxton, the
the idiot man child. Yes.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we also have Robert Wuhl as the carnival barker. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, I like Wuhl. I've liked him in stuff, but this I thought almost like he was a little too distracting from what my love of Joey Pants is, like I wanted, and the horror, but he is going, he's at 12. He's got a new costume and I think he actually has a Hitler mustache in one of the costumes, or it's like or I guess you could call it a sort of Chaplin mustache. But
yes, a Chaplin or Hitler mustache does make an appearance.
But he's got, I mean, I wrote down a lot of what I assume was not in the script. Like he makes like lines like "shocking, isn't it?" to camera, or he riffs on Schwarzenegger at one point, like when he's in his sort of carnival patter. He
My favorite is the reference to HBO itself.
Yes, I have that where he's like Paola from HBO, me carnie is Sue Carney, and I was like, wait, we're definitely breaking some fourth walls here, but and I don't know if it's working, but I mean it's Wuhl-tastic if that's what you're wanting.
I think a lot of the episode it depends on how much you like or dislike Robert Wuhl, for sure, because it leans in heavily on him, and Joey Pans is kind of in the background of a lot of the episode. I also want to talk about an unsung hero in this episode, which is probably the editor, Stephen Kemper. The entire episode is cut. There's a ton of jump cuts in this episode. I'm not sure why they went with that choice, but it works. It's very Godard-esque in their construction.
Keeps the energy going.
I feel like because of they let a lot of the Wuhl just riff and capture him in long takes, and to sort of make it work in a 22-minute episode. The editor really went to task there. This is also the only Tales of the Crypt episode so far that incorporated some of the comic book-like transitions that you would see in Creep Show or Ang Lee's The Hulk. They kind of experiment with those kind of wipes and transitions that you would see in a comic book. I think that because it's early days, these were all kind of shot at the same time. They all aired at the same time. They're sort of, I think, at this episode are trying to find the voice of what the Tales from the Crypt is. So you
Yeah.
see some of
Yeah.
that. This editor would go on to work for John Woo. He would edit
Oh,
a lot of John Woo's American films like Face Off, and um, also was Peter Hyams' regular editor. So he edited
oh,
End of
Outland.
Days.
Did you
Not
do Outland?
later Peter Hyams, I guess.
Oh,
So
okay.
so Time Cop, End of Days, Peter Hyams.
Right.
But famous for, I think, action editing. You can see that he added a lot. I think added a
Yeah.
lot to this episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Especially again, if you've got a lot of Wuhl improving, cutting it around and having to find the best takes for that. I mean, there's a moment when Wuhl is kind of left in the end. The last image we see of him is he's wearing these like Lee press-on nails that are like different colors, and he's like kind of stroking his chin. And I was like, oh, those were very 80s. I remember my mom used to have Lee press-on nails. I didn't remember being on a Robert Wuhl type, but it just speaks to like sort of the outlandish carnival barker character
I
and
think
the
that was
chaos and
I
some of
think
the.
that was common, the painted nails on carnival characters. I think that was a known
I mean, he's
trope
definitely a clown,
that
but
he's
yeah,
picking up on, and
but
definitely adds to, we're in a carny, we're in Nightmare Alley territory here
yeah,
with
yeah.
this guy.
But I guess like the whole time I'm just thinking like there's like 17 people in that tent. How much money is he really making?
Yeah. So that was my big complaint, is like, I don't think they're making enough for like killing a guy. It
Yeah.
seems like they did not update the prices from the 1950s prices. It's like still he's
I
like, we
feel
got,
like he was making more in the 50s, $30,000
well,
to jump out of
yes,
a
that's
plane.
what I mean. It's still
Yeah,
$30,000, like to kill this guy. That's all you're like.
yeah.
When she steals money, it's like, oh, we've gotten, I think it's like $55,000 or something. Like, that's enough.
Yeah.
What?
I
No.
think she had $58 that she just like 58 ones she grabbed.
Yeah.
Maybe a five in there. But like
Terrible
I
business
just feel
sense.
like that was kind of like didn't get updated well. But it has a lot of fun with itself. It knows what it is. It's based on a comic. It's still fun in that sense. I mean, obviously you got grandma in there.
Grandma, you have the morgue sequence. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, Larry Hankin was an
Yes.
uncredited cameo. Larry Hankin, who plays the mortician, his reaction is priceless when Pantoliano wakes up on the gurney and freaks everybody out. Yeah, I just love that actor. He's Carl. Good to see you from Billy Madison, and really awesome cameo in Home Alone as like the sort of donut eating police guy that calls Kevin's home when they're trying to get a hold of him there. He's
Yeah.
just a really good guy with like awesome mug, great character
great
actor.
character actor. You don't see guys like this as much anymore in movies.
No.
Turning up in the background of movies and TV that have real gravitas, real presence.
For one line, one moment,
Yeah.
huge gravitas,
Yeah.
like that's impressive. They do a lot with their limited time, and it's not just the line alone that they are milking with their expertise and nailing. It's just their demeanor and attitude and posture and just sight of them. Yeah. So I was like, I love that. Yeah. Did you know the guy that was the dad? That was like the
Oh,
the
yes.
crossbow dad that says to his son, "I've been killing people for years. Now you can do it, son." Like that was that's his cousin. That is Richard Donner's cousin, and he
Yes.
plays the police chief in Lethal Weapon. It was very quick, and I think he had a mustache, so I couldn't totally tell that was him. But I was like, "Who is that guy? I know that guy."
He has that very recognizable voice. He was in, I think,
Yeah.
like 21 movies with Richard Donner. It was like Richard Donner's Good
Yeah.
Luck Charm was casting his
Yeah.
cousin, and in all of his movies makes some sort of appearance, but probably most known as the police captain in the Lethal Weapon movies, who's always talking
Mhm.
about them. You guys are out of line. You're this close. I gotta fire you guys because you're too
Yeah.
wild and crazy. You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have to separate you two. Yeah, no, otherwise, that cat, man, he's gone.
He's real gone. Yes, the third episode of Tales from the Crypt. They all taking these first three because I think you have to kind of look at them together because they all aired on the same
Right.
night. I think each has a little different tone that they add, and this
Right.
is by far, I think, the most leaning into dark comedy of
Yeah.
all three of them. I think you have a little bit of that in Zemeckis' episode, a lot of it,
Mhm.
to be fair.
Yeah.
But this really goes full bore into being really a funny story, a funny dark story, right?
Yeah, leaning into I think when you made it a carnival, they're really becoming it's like a carnival act in itself. They're barking and calliope music is a playing, and
Yes.
it's chaos with editing. So yeah, you're kind of like you are a part of this sort of sideshow act.
Yes, and I think they pick up on that tone from Jack Davis's drawings. When you look at
Mhm.
how cartoony he's drawn everyone, like everyone has like huge heads,
Yeah,
these bodies that are sort of like gangly and moving in extreme. That
yeah,
tone of art, I think they bring across to this episode. So be interesting as
yeah,
we continue forward how much of this tone continues because it is something they're establishing here in the first block of episodes.
yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention, like, the budgetary thing. We were talking about budgets. I felt like they had good budget for this head squib that they clocked. Uh, they clocked Joey Pant. You know, like in the comic, he gets shot in the chest, and it's a heart shot or whatever. But like when the doctor convinces him by shooting him. He shoots him in the forehead, and it's like a pretty that's a A-list actor, you know, getting a squib put on his forehead like an explosive. That was pretty good.
It's a great effect. I think it was a requisite that every episode had to have some extreme gore in it, and
Yeah.
this is kind of the only extreme gore moment, other
Yeah.
than the electrocution and whatnot. But this really sells it. They really do great onset effects with that
Yeah.
whip shot. It's gross. Yeah, good.
Yeah. Well, and at the end, he gets his just desserts, and he dies alone and just as he does in the comic. That same ending.
Yes.
Overall,
Again,
good fun. Our journey
Yeah.
continues, Fred.
our journey continues.
We had some good puns from the Crypt Keeper. I do like that when we come back to him after he dies, he says, "Alas, poor Ulrich," and he has the skull there, so we get this little Hamlet sort of jab for the folks out there with PhDs.
Yeah,
Then-
maybe a reference to that Mercutio 9 Lives.
Oh yeah,
line.
you're right.
Maybe.
Well, there's a future episode that I remember as a child that we'll get into that a little bit that I'm excited to talk about when we get there. For as you join us in future episodes, he had he did say like, though dying for dollars could have been a popular game show, they could have put it in between Wheel of Misfortune and the Newly Dead game, unless they buried it in the wrong time slot. So that was kind of like the last pun that the Crypt Keeper leaves us with, which was kind of making fun of game shows of the time.
really
Wheel of Fortune,
leading into
Newlywed
those
Game.
80s, 70s, and 80s game show references. Yes.
Yeah. So there it is, folks. Dig that cat. He's real gone.
It hails from the crypt. Our episode today is brought to you by Big Top Carnival.
Big Top Carnival, America's largest semi-big top where you can see a man die, is coming to Del Paso Heights. That's right, for just $7, enjoy the peanuts, popcorn, Cracker Jacks, and the thrill of your children seeing their first death. Then witness the miracle of modern necromancy firsthand when he gets right back up for the evening show. When I started Big Top Carnival 3 weeks ago, I made it my life's mission to create the best in family entertainment. Sure, we already had the geek, but nothing says family fun like watching the light leave a man's eyes in front of you. Plus, clowns!
Wow, they really killed that guy. I'll remember this forever. Mainly because of the clown.
Don't miss a chance to make some memories with the family. Take them to the Big Top tonight. Discount tickets available at participating Big 8 gas stations. And for a small extra fee of $2, your kids can step right up and take a man's life with a compound crossbow. Fun for the whole family. Ain't that right, Grandma?
You bet your ass.
Now, nuke 'em!
Dig it.
And now we have another section. Our last, we like to leave each other with what we would call the. Are you ready? Drum roll. Vault of ready. No, right.
All right.
Vor.
More.
Vault of
more.
More.
There we go.
All right, you go.
What
What have you got? Do you want me to go or do you want you to go?
I think I went first last time. Why don't you go first
All right.
this time?
Well, you brought up earlier Richard Donner's television career and writing and sort of his work on Twilight Zone. Thankfully, you didn't get to this one, which is my sort of deep cut, which is there is a anthology show that lasted, I think, one season in 1972 called Ghost Story. And he did an episode called The Concrete Captain. And it stars Jenna Rollins. Did you know
What?
this?
No.
Yes.
Have you seen this?
Yes. I watched it on YouTube because I was like, what is this show? It was there was this show he did 4 years before The Omen, 6 years before Superman. This is like every Hollywood director paying his dues in sort of like TV's 70 horror material. And he does this show called for this anthology show that was produced by William Castle.
Wow.
Did you know this?
I don't know this, and I love.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is made for TV horror, especially if it's shot on video. I love it. So
yeah, it's not shot on video.
Oh,
but
so it's classy.
It's classy. I think it's shot on. You know what? I don't know. I was watching on YouTube. It's available there. But it premiered in September 22nd, 1972, and it's about Ed and Kate Lucas are on vacation, and the husband picks up a souvenir, which is a chunk of concrete with like a tiny harpoon in it. And his wife becomes weirdly fixated on it and obsessed with the legend of this long dead sea captain who was buried alive in a concrete block.
This sounds
And then the
amazing. I'm
the
going to
ghost
watch
starts
this
coming for them.
immediately. This sounds great.
Yeah. It was written by Jimmy Sangster, who I'm sure you'll appreciate. He was a screenwriter behind a bunch of Hammer horror stuff like Curse of the Frankenstein, Horror of Dracula, The Mummy. So he brings this sort of like atmospheric dread to American early 70s television. I mean, it's padded. It's like an hour-long episode and commercials, so there's a lot of like there's a lot of padding on it, but it's kind of like a fun thing, and it was very like nostalgic because it's the California coast. They shot it up like near Malibu, Point Doom area, and again, like William Castle was the producer on it, and he has like a hotel host that is.
Oh wow! So they have like a horror host that introduces.
Yeah, do you know who Sebastian Cabot is? He kind of looks like So he's the voice of Bagheera in the original Jungle Book, or Bagheera. Bagheera.
Yeah.
But he kind of looks like Orson Welles. He has like this he's like a bigger dude. He's got a cigar.
Yes.
Rotund. And he's got this ascot, and he does all of his segments at the beginning and end at the Hotel Coronado, which is sort of like his mansion, quote unquote.
Wow. We should maybe point out who William Castle is to the listeners. Who he was,
Oh, I'll let you point him out because I love William Castle, but you'll do a better job.
He was like
hyping him up.
The equivalent of a Carnival Barker type filmmaker who made The House on Haunted Hill and 13 Ghosts, and my favorite, The Tingler. And they were all gimmick-based movies where, like for The Tingler, he installed these joy buzzers underneath the theater seats so that whenever the Tingler would show up, this creature that would tingle people to death, they would vibrate the chairs. You would get a little shock in your chair. So he'd do things like that during the House on Haunted Hill. He would have a ghost come out from behind the screen and go over the audience. It was a very much a Carnival Barker guy. The movie, Joe Dante's movie Matinee, is loosely based on William Castle is this legendary,
Yeah, he also
goofy
had
guy.
produced Rosemary's Baby too.
Yeah, well, there's a story to that. He
or
basically
is credited.
he had the rights to do that
Yeah.
book. He picked up the book, and they kind of just paid him off and gave him producer credit, and we're like, okay, William, we're gonna kind of classy this up and get real
Yeah.
money, Hollywood money behind it, so you don't make this like House on Haunted Hill or 13 Ghosts and whatnot. But
Well, maybe
great.
that's how he got Jenna Rollins to be in this episode, because it's Cassavetes' wife at the
Yes. Well,
time.
Jenna Rollins, Oscar-winning actress, one of my
Yeah.
favorite actors of all time. I can't wait to see this. What a great recommendation. Awesome.
Yeah, and the writers' room for this, like I did a research on this, like anthology is like only one season, but like Richard Matheson wrote some of these episodes, Robert Bloch, DC Fontana, who did a bunch of Star Trek. So like, yeah, I was kind of
Wow, that's a murderer's
impressed with this
row
whole thing.
of genre writers there. A lot of
Yeah.
Twilight Zone alums with that. That's great.
Yeah,
Terrific.
so it was fun. It's a weird thing. It's definitely of its time, but I think it's definitely worth watching because it was kind of fun to just kind of live in that coastal 1970s California for a second, and sort of this windswept beachside situation. And the ghosts are kind of like, of the time era as well, as far as the effects. So watch it for that. But yeah, fun times. Baltimore.
right.
Your turn, Fred.
Well,
Wow me.
I went on the opposite direction. It's a little pedestrian recommendation, but I'm going to recommend, because of the cat, The Black Cat from 1981, directed by Fulci, the
Whoa.
gross out horror Italian
Yeah,
director.
I've never seen this and I've wanted to.
Starring Patrick McGee and Mimsy Farmer. Patrick McGee from Clockwork Orange, etc.
Yes.
Has trained. He's a hypnotist who has trained and sound. He's a crazy mad scientist, basically, but he's like he has hypnotism skills and is a sound audio recording scientist who's like recording corpses with microphones and whatnot, but has trained, and it's this this movie claims to be based on Edgar Allan Poe's short story The Black Cat. It is not at all. It's the Italian giallo version of basing things on stories. There's nothing to do with it other than the name.
It has a title that's similar, I guess.
Yeah, similar title. That's it. But this mad scientist has trained this cat to kill people. Go out and is the murderer. The famous line is, "They were held together by mutual hate." Is he and this black cat? The cat hates his owner.
The cat has hate.
The cat has hate in his heart.
And hates his owner, so it's like a kind of like a Frankenstein sort of story.
Yes,
like,
it's sort of a cursed. And I saw this at a double feature at the New Beverly. They played this with The Psychic, which is another Fulci movie, and they're both Fulci, who's known for The Beyond and Zombie and The House Next to the Cemetery, which are really gore-filled movies. He was always known, for the famous.
That's the eyeball towards.
Eyeball getting split in the camera. A shark battling a zombie at the bottom of the ocean. Things like that. He's sort of known as an over-the-top Italian giallo director, and he made these two movies, The Psychic and The Black Cat, that are both set in England and have a much more suspense, psychological. There's not really a lot of gore in either of these movies. The Psychic is honestly the better movie, but Black Cat is on theme with our episode.
Yes, we're keeping exactly.
And it's great. It's also just great to have a cat be the murderer, basically.
Yeah.
Following this cat as it goes around murdering people. It stars the great Mimsy Farmer, who was a great late 60s, 70s actress, did a lot of these giallo movies. Probably most famous for doing a European movie called More that was about drug addicts. And it's great.
Oh,
But she later retired from acting and became a sculptor. Now does elaborate sculpts for Hollywood movies like Pan's Labyrinth, Guardians of the
oh wow,
Galaxy, things like
really?
that. So very interesting career that she's had. This movie is fascinating and a lot of fun. It's a more I, I don't know if he was ever truly sedate, but a more sedate Fulci than you would see in the Beyond or Zombie or things like that.
How are the kills like? Because when I think of a cat killing, there's the trope of the cat jumping out in the dark and you go, oh, ah, and you get scared. Is that all the cat
There's
does?
some
And
of
then every
that,
time
but
they go, they fall
it's
over
mostly
doing
what I think
spikes.
one of the most memorable kills is a couple decides to abscond to a sauna in a boathouse to have sex,
Okay.
and the cat locks them into the sauna so that the sauna, bakes them to death. So by the time
Yeah.
they find them, they're like, burnt
I
corpses.
feel like I've seen that in something else too.
Yeah.
Those
Well, it
saunas
was used in
can kill.
War of the Roses. I think
Okay.
famously Kathleen Turner locks Michael Douglas in the
Oh,
sauna,
yeah.
and he almost dies, but lets him out at the very end. So there you go.
Does the cat like stand up and then use an opposable digit to kind of?
No, it doesn't go that far, but I do love that the cat, hates the guy, like it is wanting to have revenge on its owner, and that finally the tables get turned. It's a very like
Okay.
Tales from the Crypt adjacent
Yeah,
cyclical
the villain
storytelling.
gets their just desserts.
Yes, he definitely gets his just desserts at the end, and it's a very enjoyable picture.
Okay.
I think you'll like it. You'll dig it. You'll dig it. It's real gone.
I'll dig that real gone. Is there a 9 life sort of story beat moment to this cat? Does it have 9 lives? Do people take it out, but then it's like it just keeps coming back, like the Terminator?
Nope. No.
Well, cats.
It's just a killer cat. So
It's just a killer cat.
well, it plays up on the other myth, which is like don't let a black cat cross your path.
Yes.
So it plays
Yes.
up on that mythology about a cat rather than the 9 lives.
Right. Yeah, this isn't called Cat of 9 Lives. This is called The Black Cat.
The black cat. So you
we're
got to
going
watch
with
its
like
path.
the Yeah, you can't. Yeah. Well, excellent. I will have to watch that or borrow that Blu-ray from you if it's
Yeah.
not streaming anywhere.
There is
or just buy it.
There is an excellent disc of it available. So look for that. And if you want to
excellent.
look for us, you can find us online at our email address, which is
It hails from the crypt at gmail.com or on our Instagram at It Hails from the Crypt at Instagram on the app.
at
guess
Instagram
that's how
on
that
the
works.
app. Yes.
Yeah.
So reach out
yeah.
with any comments, concerns, questions, and Tim will read them.
Ideas.
I won't at all. So no,
I will probably look at them direct. Yes, and then if there's a gem, I'll talk to Fred about it.
yeah. And I think that does it for episode 3.
That does it for today.
All right.
Yeah, let's start prepping for episode 4. I don't know who's in it. We're gonna figure it all out.
I think it's.
Well, let's talk to you.
I think it's Leah Thompson is in our next episode. So.
Oh, Marty McFly's mom.
Yes.
Okay. Let's do it.
So we have that to look forward to, and until then, we remain
in the crypt.
We did that one right. We did that one.
Yeah,
pretty darn good.
We're getting better.
We actually looked at each other in the eyes, but that's why.
Yeah, it was creepy. It was creepy. It was very creepy.
Excellent.
All right.
All right, everyone. Have a good one.
Good night.
Bye.